Hello, me and Queen here. Life after money. Now I've set up a little gallery in my bedroom to show my art pieces. So I'll take you on a little look around. So come with me into my bedroom art gallery. Holding the camera with two hands. Try not to shake it about. Look! I've got a cup of coffee! I think some of you will remember some of these pieces, the most recent ones anyway. Lots of bits and bobs stuck onto a board, painted black, with touches of red and gold. Two little ones, one gold, one silver. Quite getting into this assemblage thing where you gather up pieces of junk and stick them down and paint over them. Quite enjoyable to do. The tennis racket, bought at a car boot sale for £1. Lots of stitching, beads, embroidery. That up there is the shelf from a small fridge that I found on a tip, and I've woven different coloured wool through it. Now that's a big one up there. Front end of a Renault car, I think. The bit under the bonnet. It's a spaceship and a monster at the same time. Did you see the other car bits that I've painted, stuck things on? Broken car body panels. Please excuse the shadows because I've got lights on. Right, let's carry on round. That's a little rock pool. The base is a tin from a sweetie box, and these are pebbles out of the garden, covered in crochet, bits and bobs stuck onto them, or stitched onto them I should say. I don't very often use glue, too messy. CDs with forks and spoons bent over and put through the middle of the hole in the middle, and blinged up. Stuck down with a hot glue gun. I don't mind using hot glue guns. These are rocks, stones, heavy stones, covered in felt and lots of embroidery and stitching. Alright, here we go, a bit more up there, look. Looking through a window. It's got a metal frame in there that I found in a skip. A badminton racket. Who would have thought? Making a piece of art out of a badminton racket. Blocks of wood painted, stuck on a black background. Each one has got a question to it. Each one asks a question. It's called Outside the Box. That is the Octopus's Garden. That's needle felting and embroidery. Spirals, felt spirals put into a frame. Plastic chopped up into tiny bits and melted between two sheets of paper, and a heart shape cut out of it. Insides of a video player. That's right. I take apart electricals sometimes and see what's inside of them. So I've got a bit of a shadow here because we've got glass on the picture. Needle felting. Oh, you can see me in there. Look, needle felting and stitching. That's a photograph, but I've blown it up because I think it's quite effective. I put a flash onto it, so the flash has picked out the trees, the branches on the trees. That's a technique called slashing, where you have two layers of fabric, any colour you like, plain fabric, and you make a sandwich with all your bits and pieces in the middle and stitch it over with a sewing machine, and then you cut out the top layer to expose all the bits underneath it. See, I like to try new techniques. Just a board painted over with lentils and split peas on it. And a picture made by bleeding tissue paper. The colour is all tissue paper. I'm not very good on, well, I'm hopeless at actually painting. I can't paint pictures. So, but that's quite a nice easy method to do with the tissue paper. So I've covered a couple of chairs. I've painted the chairs. There's the orange one, and over there is the blue one. Really old chairs. It must be about 50 years old. And I've had them all that time. So I've upcycled the chairs. The carpet, the mat I should say, the mat is a pegged rug, which I've made, of course. In fact, everything in this room is what I've made, apart from the saw. Apart from the saw, there is a saw. Somebody made that for me and gave it to me. Another rug, another peg rug. The bed cover, I made that, and it has 625 squares on it, and I hand stitched them all together. A little bit of machining, there, a little bit of machining, a little bit of machining on the edge, but mostly hand stitched. Let's have a look at the pictures on the wall. Right, I put a sheet up here over the wardrobe, fitted wardrobes, so I'm able to hang it all up there. So I'll just take you along here slowly. Try not to shake the camera. A lot of these have appeared on my blog at some point. You might want to go and have a look at that. I like to do wall hangings because it's quite an easy way to hang things. Put loops along the top and stick something through it. That's a big knitting needle. That's a piece of driftwood I found alongside the river bank. I like circles, I like spirals, I like colour, you may have guessed. And there's the Lollipop Trees. I love the Lollipop Trees. I've just found this idea in a magazine and I thought I could do that. I'll try it, and it's worked out really well. Now I'm going to have to go around this bed now, change hands, and there's the button picture, all buttons. I can't remember how many buttons there are on there. I'm going to struggle here now, unless they actually climb onto the bed. I had 10 of these boards and I thought I'm going to put something on each one of them, different things, like stones and washers. I like doing weaving, so there's a small weaving. The tree method, again, I found how to make the tree on the YouTube videos. Good source of ideas and instructions. Now I'm sat on the bed now, and this is a woven thing. It's a shelf from a refrigerator, and I've just woven through it. I've made some wooden frames to weave on, just ordinary picture frames, and just put nails in the top and the bottom, and creating a frame to weave on. That piece I did at a class. I went along to a sewing class and did that. I use a lot of felt, because felt doesn't fray, it's so easy, and I get lots of scraps of felt from the scrap store at Hull. Inside there is wire mesh. Can you see that there? It is flexible, that, so it's really just a piece of mesh. So I wove the browns in, I wove the greens in, and I just call it a walled garden. There's a little weaving. Now I'm going to have to reach up here, I don't know if you can see that. That metal frame there was a towel rack. So I put some cords on it and made warps, and then I wove through them with strips of fabric, and added the beads and the embroidery and the trees. The trees are flexible electrical cables, and I think David Hockney influences some of my work. I like the way he makes coloured trees. The sunflowers I did at another class, a sewing class, and that is a applique. It's got glass in front of it, second-hand frame, painted. I use as much second-hand things as I can. It's very rare that I actually buy any new materials at all. And these are curtain rings, wrapped. You can do such a lot with curtain rings. You can put them on a background like that, or you can string them up and hang them. String 6 or 7 together and hang them up. Alright, another weaving there. Now the big pictures, this one took me ages to do because I wasn't happy with the way it was going. The bottom was alright. I quite liked all the little, adding all the little detail onto it and all the stitching, but when I got to the mountain up there, it just was the wrong colour. It was more purple. It looked like a purple woolly hat, and the sky did have clouds, but I didn't like them, so I just got some paint and daubed it on and put a bit of needle felting on it as well. But if you can, I don't know if you can see closely there, all this is cords. The cords I made all separately with strips of fabric. You do it on a sewing machine. You get 1 inch wide strips of fabric and you twist and twist and twist, and you put them through the sewing machine on a zigzag stitch, and it makes cords. So then I didn't stick, I'd sewn all the cords on to make the picture, and the frame from inside a chair, a soft easy chair, part of a 3-piece suite which I took apart in my back garden. I'm always taking things apart because I'm always wanting to know what's inside, because there's things in there that could be used. Do you know, I came across a skip last night and they were throwing things out, and I knocked on the door to ask if I could take things out of the skip, because you have to ask, and the old chap here who answered, he said, well, they're not my things in the skip. Yeah, he lives there, and I was so disappointed that there weren't his belongings in the skip. Now the house has been sold and the people will be moving out, but I can't take things out of that skip without permission. So that was really sad, and it is terrible what people throw away. And this picture here is a piece of William Morris fabric, William Morris designed fabric, and I've used the back of it. Can't see the other side because it's on a board, but I turned it over and thought, yeah, I can see another picture there. Thank you, William Morris. And of course that's all been put together on a machine in a factory, so I have just added lots of stuff onto it. That is the Enchanted Forest, one of my favourites. The frame as well, I felt that it didn't really need a frame, so what I did is I did spend about £10 on a shoe rack. So that is a shoe rack. Let's have a look at the table. Smaller items that I make. Sometimes it's a relief to make something small after you've made something really, really big that's taken ages. And so I sort of split the time up between large projects and small projects and do whatever I feel like doing. So I think I might have shown these bowls before. Rope. And some of this rope I actually picked up off the beach at Orkney, when I was on holiday in Orkney. Picked it up off the beach and made bowls out of them. So you can see lots of free material about. These two little frames here, they were 50p from a charity shop. I like mandalas. So start in the middle and work it out and out and out. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Again, all different types of rings, different sizes of rings. That will hang up like that. And that little box there was a letter rack. That was a letter rack, 50p from a on the front of a charity shop, brown, horrible. So I painted it, and I made it a little indoor flower garden. See, I like flowers. And these spirally things here, they are coasters, chrome coasters, found again in a charity shop, 50p for a set of 12. So I wrapped wool around them, and then it's a picture frame again wrapped with green wool. I wanted to be able to see right through. I didn't want to put them onto a solid background. So, and that piece there is from a car that I had a few years ago. That was my Focus estate. I think I'm now on my 3rd Focus estate, but that was smashed up. A taxi driver ran into it and smashed it up, and I picked that piece up off the road, and I was quite upset that my car had been demolished. So I kept it and painted it. Right, I think that's about it now. I think that's about it. Let's have another quick pan around. Now I'm going to leave this up until probably a couple of days more. 3 friends have been to have a look. There might be 1 or 2 more. So the purpose of it really is to gather it all together and see how it looks in a sort of homemade exhibition. And then I shall pack it all away again. It will be wrapped up and packed away very carefully, because I don't want to damage it. I don't want it to get dirty, and eventually one day it will be sold. Not yet. I always find it difficult to part with anything that I've made, because when I've finished it I like it and I want to keep it. So I do keep it for a while. People always ask me if I sell my work. I do eventually, but I have to say I only sell locally, and I'm very sorry, but I will not post it out anywhere, because there's a whole lot of regulations that come into play when you do distance selling, and I'm not going to get into that. It's a hobby for me, and if I show it locally and people love it and want to buy it, then I will consider selling it, but only when I'm ready. Oh, naughty me. Anyway, shall I get my coffee? I'm going to turn the camera around. It's on my little thing that I'm holding. My homemade I can see me dropping this actually. My homemade well, it's a piece of metal really. So, well, I hope you like my tour of my homemade. Cheers. Have you got a coffee? Ah, it's nice. I'm going to take this handle off now, because there you are. There is my handle. Homemade. Oh, let me sit down a minute. Sit down and have my coffee. Oh. Cheers. So I'm going to carry on making, because I enjoy it. And it's nice to end up with something that you can be proud of. And I like the thought processes that go into creating something. Now, if I didn't do this, what else would I do? I would be bored. I'm not a housework fan. I don't like housework. I do like the garden. You know that. I go outside, I do look after my garden. I do like walking. So I think really I'm quite enjoying myself in retirement with those 3 things. And of course there's the cats, there's going out walking, there's the garden, there's making art projects, arts and crafts, and I think I haven't really got time to fit anything else in. I'm hoping that I'll be able to travel a little bit further eventually when they've sorted out this where can we go, you know, because they're just bringing in more and more lockdowns. You know, I do feel sorry for people that are virtually imprisoned. You know, in this part of the UK, we are not too badly off because we're in a little corner, a little bit isolated from the rest of it. So we can sort of carry on, sort of normal. But if we want to go anywhere else, then it's really confusing about where we can and can't go. Cheers. Oh dear, I think you've had enough. I think you've seen enough of me. So, I'm going to go now. This is me, Queen. Life after money. In my little gallery. In my bedroom. Thank you for popping in, thank you for watching, thank you for putting up with me and my waffle. We'll catch up again another time. Bye!